Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those wave runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
Finally, you can stay in control of your thumbsticks. Natural evolution gave the gecko its amazingly strong grip. Our multi-patented SetX technology duplicates the microstructured fibers on a gecko's foot for a revolutionary new way to get a grip on game controller thumbsticks. Like a gecko's foot, the thousands of microstructures on each SetX anti-slip thumbstick grip provide high friction to the skin surface for a secure, comfortable grip, even when sweaty, giving you a competitive advantage. Stay in control with the secure and comfortable grip of SetX thumbstick grips. Inspired by nature, perfected by science.
Welcome to day 4 of the VCT Challengers Open Qualifier. We had 256 teams, and now we are down to the final 12, where we will soon eliminate 8 more teams and find our first 4 joining Split 1 with our invited teams. My name is Celia, joined here with Upmine, and on stream today we will have 2 best of 3s. Both will be qualifying games, and our first matchup is between 2 star-studded lineups, The Nation and BreakThru, headed by some of NA's best.
Yes, sir. I mean, this is the matchup where these two teams, it's their biggest chance to qualify. It's their best chance to qualify. It's been a tough run for both teams, but it's a tough goings on in the losers bracket. But here's our lineups. I mean, there are some insane lineups, some incredibly familiar names. You have over on The Nation, Braxton Swag Pierce, Wardell, Stewie 2K. That alone is 3 eras of fraggers. And then you have the young lads in Tig and Rossi. That is a strong lineup, and they made a strong run so far with a lot of upsets. But then you go over towards the other side, BreakThru with a core of VCT players. You have Brock and a Proto who played last season on Ghost, one of the top VCT teams in NA, and alongside Flya, Sim, and a Proto, all extremely talented player in their own right.
Yeah, you know, and we're flying through this really quick, so obviously we don't have time to exactly familiarize everyone. But between these two teams, The Nation, they're a team that was formed by Stewie 2K, a team of that I think a lot of people called clout players, to be completely honest. Stewie 2K, not a lot of people expected too much from him and his roster, but they took down Dark Ratio. They had a very, very deep run. So, I mean, like we said, both of these teams extremely talented, and both have a lot of potential to make this deep run. And yeah, we jump straight into how are you guys? My apologies for that one. But Gus, it's an exciting event because 12 teams, and I think our first 2 games will eliminate 2, and then we've got the lower bracket games, which will then whittle us down to just 4 teams for tomorrow. So high stakes for both these teams, and for all 12 of these teams, this is their best chance to qualify, which I think is probably the scariest thing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I already mentioned the top bracket where we got going on, but over in the bottom bracket, over on the other 3 side streams that you guys can watch, at least let me highlight one of the games, Dark Ratio versus NSIC. These are 2 teams that have been at the forefront of the off season, what has been a pretty pretty short offseason in NA, and that one should essentially be one of those two teams should be going on into one of the qualifier games tomorrow. So keep an eye out on that. But again, it's just brutal in general because again, this game that we have in front of us, BreakThru, they've had a relatively light time through the bracket, but they don't want to go through that lower bracket and the dangerous teams there.
No, I don't think anyone between these 4 teams that we're bracket. Obviously, our next game will be Oxygen Esports versus Disguised Toast. Yes, I'm talking about the actual Twitch streamer. It's a scary prospect to go through that lower bracket, but diverting our attention back to this matchup between, of course, our 2 roster teams. I want to highlight 2 players as we went through that very quick lineup on our head-to-head, that being Rossi and Brockus. Rossi being from the Nation and Brock being from the side. Jesus, we're going through my head. BreakThru. I was about to say Ghost Gaming, but I forgot. Wait, they don't play anymore. But looking at it, these 2 players, I think, have been very key and instrumental fraggers when it comes to the success of these 2 players. You look at their ACS, both players looking exceptionally well. One thing we have to note is Brock, when he was on that ex-Ghost Gaming lineup, his ACS was like, I think, 212, and now that he's stepped into a major fragging role, especially for the side of BreakThru, he's sitting at 260 ACS. And we want to talk about the performances that they've had leading in between these 2 teams. The Nation, a team that I think shocked a lot of people. Rossi has stepped up massively after being the ex-IGL for TSM. In his last match, he was plus 21 alone. And I think through the entire series, he's been plus 76 in this event alone. And for Brock, he's been like, I think 100 plus 101, and just in his last match, plus 22. So for both of these guys, they're both initiators, and they have a lot to prove, and I think given the form that they've had in their last match and just in this event alone, these 2 players are going to go head-to-head and are definitely going to be the ones to watch out for.
Yeah, it's a dangerous lineup for really any matchup, right? Any 1v1. But Rossi and Brock is the one that you're going to have to see the most on the defensive side for each player. You're not going to see 1v1s. You're not going to see the kills between the 2. But the responses that Brock and Rossi will have in terms of whenever they end up getting the first contact and delaying the rotations, that's where we're going to see the most impact from them. Because they're in pretty pivotal spots for what is not very good, like, space controlling agents, but very good in terms of being aggressive.
Yeah, especially with Rossi, someone that is really key, and especially in that late round with the Nation and his utility, is he will be very instrumental with his flashes and setting up his team for retakes, one of the strong points of the Nation. And then for Rossi, he's a guy that has only, I think, 5 first deaths this entire event. So he's like exceptionally good in that later part of the round department where he becomes a really big player. And Brock is going to be, again, guy to watch out for in those late rounds with his util as well in comparison to Rossi. So for both these guys, I think what comes down to the big thing for both of them is that late round fight and where they really will have the most impact between the 2 of them.
Let's talk about our maps then. Let's talk about the battlegrounds for this first best of 3. And at least from what I've already seen from this map pool, this is the best map pool that we could get from these 2 teams. Fracture and Haven are some strong maps, almost perfect for both of these 2 teams throughout the first few days. And Ascent has been a bit split. It is tough to really tell who's going to be able to take away a map on there. But we go down the line. Pearl and Bind were both pretty common maps for actually both teams, so it's pretty pivotal that both of them were taken out, both for respective reasons. I really wanted to see Icebox as that 3rd pick, but again, Sully, this is just straight up competitive. Yeah, I think we look at those first map picks. I think this map pool does lean a little bit more heavily in favor of the Nation simply because Bind, it was a map they were 3-0. It's the insta-ban of BreakThru. So we get rid of one of the stronger maps of the Nation. Then we head into Fracture, a map that both teams have a 100% win rate on. More recently, the Nation currently 3-0. And then Haven, a map they unfortunately lost yesterday to the Silk Road. They elect to keep that into the map pool picked by themselves. I think they have confidence in the map. The Silk Road, you learn a lot from a loss. So I'm assuming that, well, Tig, the IGL, that team is going to take a lot of notes away from that game, fix up a lot of small things. As again, this roster hasn't been around for too long. And there should be slight shuffles that we're going to see, so we're going to be very keen and interested to see what defaults have changed, what styles are going to move around, and then our fourth map, or our third ban and fourth ban, I think 2 maps that aren't common for either of these teams. Icebox being a map that, well, we saw BreakThru play, but they haven't looked the best on in general, and then Breeze, a map that hasn't been touched just yet by the side of the Nation, and Ascent as a decider, I think is a perfect middle ground for both of these 2 teams. Yeah, again, Ascent is a split map for both the Nation and BreakThru, so not too bad. But those first 2 maps, let's actually shift over towards the Nation for a second, because we've seen a lot of weird dynamics on Fracture and Haven, just in terms of the scoreline, just in terms of how the game entirely has gone down. The Nation, they have a 0% win rate on the defensive side when it came to Silk Road. They went 0-8, and the other games where they ended up playing, if I'm not mistaken, it was only a 30% win rate on the defensive side. Haven, it was a test for them against the Silk Road, a team who, again, just head for head, should be the better team, and they got absolutely mopped on Haven. It was the same question that we actually had for Fracture. From Fracture, we didn't see a lot of their attacking side, but when they got a full attacking half going, they ended up sweeping Silk Road 10-2. So the test went either way. Don't really know what to think at this point about their Haven, but their Fracture looks confident.
Yeah, Fracture is a map that they have not let any team get double digits. I think the most rounds that have been won against the Nation on Fracture is actually only 5 rounds. So the work has been put in by these guys on the Nation, and for BreakThru, I think there's going to be work to be cut out for them, because you mentioned it earlier that this bracket run that they've had per se hasn't been the most difficult. I think one thing that we did highlight when we were talking is that when it comes to challenges, this is their biggest challenge. The Nation is a team that, again, was seen as the clout team, and I remember I was doing a watch party. I was like, where's the clout game? I want to watch the clout game only. And now that we're looking at it, they beat Dark Ratio. They're now 1 game away from qualifying into Split 1 with our 8 invited Ascension teams. And so I think the scary thing, and one of the coolest things to think about, is that Stewie2K, his first competitive Valorant event, might directly qualify him into Split 1.
His very first, by the way, hasn't played a single, not even just a random scrim team tournament. No, he has only played the influencer tournaments, and he hasn't played a single semi-competitive tournament. So, yeah, Stewie alongside Brax, alongside Wardell, it's 3 people who have had some pretty different paths throughout Valorant, but it's a similar one where they've had a lot of potential going into Valorant, and at this point, we are yet to really crack it. We saw a lot from Wardell throughout his Op Academy days, or early on in TSM. But at this point, literally this entire team, Sully, is looking for a way back into the top flight of Valorant, and this is literally the way in, right?
Yeah, I think specifically for someone like Wardell and Brax, Wardell, who's been kind of like shuffling rosters. He was the V1 stand-in for a little bit. Brax, who is technically the first official Valorant player.
Is the most tenured.
Right, in the history of esports. He's been there since literally day 1. I think the game wasn't even out when he got signed. So, yeah, I mean, for this entire roster, right, Tig and Rossi as well, I think in this roster, a lot of people look over someone like Tig, someone that is really good at calling, and with his time and his tenure on LG, he was one of the more critical players when it came to that calling style, and now that he shifted over, he's going to be playing Smoke, sometimes the Initiator as well, alongside Stewie2K and Rossi. I think he's a player that you kind of have to not gloss over, but at least take a look at, because especially yesterday, I think in their best of 3 against the Silk Road, he was one of the players that he loves to kind of creep in his own smokes. I mean, like that's kind of ironic given the fact that we have the smoke criminal on this team, but he's a guy that you can't gloss over. Watch out for him in this game, and especially alongside Rossi, 2 players that I think get overshadowed or get shadowed by those 3 main players that you were just talking about.
Yeah, and I think for BreakThru, considering the fact that we haven't seen too much of Fracture, we just have to look out for what is like a little bit more of the faster play from them. We've seen a lot from their initiators, right? We've seen a lot from their defenders. Proto's been having a great tournament. Brock has been having a great tournament. But where is Sim right now? Where does he actually match up in that 1v1 against Wardell? Well, he hasn't actually been too bad statistically, but there's some pushback, right? There's a weird first kill, first death ratio there. He has one of the most deaths in this entire tournament. So he does have that impact that the team wants, potentially in terms of like the potential to frag, but it doesn't seem like Sim has been getting the best scenarios.
Yeah, and I think for BreakThru, Sim is going to be a key player, because you've got someone that, by the way, yesterday woke up 30 minutes before his best of 3 against the Silk Road and still managed to go 14-11, the first kill, first at department, and go 42-42. So I saw the tweet from Wardell. He put 7 different alarms to guarantee he would wake up for this matchup. So he's woken up at more than 30 minutes before his game. So I think for Sim, he's got the 3rd most first kills in this entire event, and a good chunk of those do come off the operator. He doesn't like to touch it too much on the attacking side, which is, I believe, where they will be finding themselves in this first map of Fracture. So we're not going to see that head-to-head duel where op be op, unfortunately, but Sim in particular, not a guy that has the best FK-FD ratio, like you said. I think he's 50 first or 30-something first deaths, and just above 50 first kills. So it's rough for him in the sense that he doesn't have the best FK, and he's not going to guarantee you a for 5v4 every single round like someone like Wardell would do, but he's going to be one of those guys, like you mentioned, that hasn't stepped up the most massively. We are going to be looking in this first map of Fractures we had in our agent select what he can do when he's up against the big dog Wardell.
Yeah, let's see if there's any changes from the last few days. There shouldn't be, but again, we're deep in the bracket. I'm sure it's a deep strat book, and it doesn't seem like there's anything too crazy, right?
No, I feel like for at least both of these teams, the comps feel the same unless Wardell wants to run up a Neon instead of a Raze, if that's the route he wants to go. And I think for both these sides, that's probably the only change, which actually could be the Jet. Now, one of the funny stats and one of the curious things is that with Wardell, a lot of people associate him with just, Op Academy Wardell, Jet Wardell, Chamber Wardell. Well, this event alone, he's played more non-Jet agents than he has Jet. And Raze, he's played 5 times. Jet, he's only played 6. So Wardell has expanded his agent pool. And I think he might have just been trolling us as he does go back to the race. But yeah, for both these teams, it's almost a mirror composition. I think one of the more stylistic differences is that you don't have information-seeking initiators in the sense that you have a Dog or a Fade Eye or a Sova Dart. Instead, on the side of BreakThru, you're going to have Flya who picks up the KO instead, where Stu2K is going to go on the Fade.
Yeah, and you mentioned, by the way, the Jet pick from Wardell. We should see that for actually the rest of this best of 3, so it'll just be a bit of a different perspective here. See how Wardell has been feeling throughout this week, what has unlocked a lot of his success outside of Ascent and Haven. I mean, he's gotten perfect so far on any agent outside of Jet. He's currently 2-0 on Bind. He's currently 3-0 on Icebox, 3-0 on Fracture.
Yeah, and as we head into this first map, I think expectations for these two teams, again, for the Nation, I think building up to this qualification game, wasn't a lot to go off of, especially for Stewie2K, who is coming off of a content creation tenure where we watch his streams, we know, okay, this guy's good, we know what he's been able to do. Now he comes into the competitive scene, and he has played lights out, a top 10 initiator. He's going to be super exciting to watch out for, but I think for BreakThru, it's expectations, especially for Brock and a Proto, who from that X-Ghost roster are the only 2 left out of the direct invitational spot into Split 1, where the M80 roster consisting of the remaining 3 of that Ghost roster, they have themselves a direct spot there. So for them, it's a matchup. Can they make it through?
And it's been in the middle of a run where they haven't faced a single former VCT pro. Not a single person from their level before. So they're trying to make it back to that level. But now they finally have some more even competition. Team BreakThru, the Nation, starting off a bit slow here on Fracture.
And this was a little bit different, right, from the Nation. Typically, their pistol round is going to be an aggressive look towards A main, but instead they play 3 players towards this B site, and Sim looking to make this entry as Op Academy Wardell is Ghost Academy this time around.
Yeah, an awkward angle from Wardell. Takes down Sim. Backs out immediately. That's the good one and done. But through the cage, a lot of damage onto the player going into tower, but Wardell gets yet another kill. Finally, the trades go back, but again, still a couple of players trying to push out through smoke. There's Flya holding onto the cross. It's a crossfire with a Proto in the middle of sights. I thought we were about to get the big breakthrough from Brock, but instead, it's the 2K at the end to give it to BreakThru.
Yeah, really nice recovery there from Team BreakThru, crunching in towards tower, where Wardell, he's in a nice angle, gets a nice 3K, but unfortunately, I think given his position, couldn't offer too much support to the rest of his teammates in tower, and all it takes, a single fault line, catching both those players stunned, a Proto's there to pressure alongside Brock. A pistol win rate for Team BreakThru, who will want the momentum, starting them early off, but I think for the Nation, at least, it's about mediating this pressure and, of course, keeping things calm. They're a team that's really good at recovering these second rounds, and I think they have pretty interesting stats, or not stats, strats when it comes to these bonuses, or these anti-ecos.
Well, stats and strats, right? Because Wardell, he has one of the highest headshot percentages in the tournament, and he starts it off with a bang. Just a one and done with a smoke immediately after. It's going to be BreakThru. I'm going to shift back towards the B side, but there's only one here.
BreakThru will approach this B site, but I mean, they lose one player, and when you have a team that has so many star-studded players that have all been on T1 teams, and speaking of T1, Brax, wow, former T1 player is eventually going to go down, as he is on low HP, but for BreakThru, nice easy spike plant, keeping things nice and calm. I think for the Nation now, it's about, okay, this next round, what are we looking for? As you just want a little bit more damage done to the economy of Team BreakThru, which would be nice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Breakthrough. 2 players left.
Jackass.
Go through, okay.
Down
Bad
and
for
out.
Thief, but a lot of money has already been taken away. 3 guns
hold
gone.
on.
Another one.
Brax!
No! With the defuse going in. That is just a round for the nation out of nowhere. Brax snacks down to 2 for a thrifty.
Well, all right then, Brax. I think Brax is one of the most entertaining players to watch purely because of how snappy and how clean his aim is. And in a game like Valorant, where aim can sometimes be all you need, that's what it is there. Brax, the beautiful Sheriff 4K, kicked off by Wardell's 1 entry frag. 2 first kills for the nation, and they will convert this 5v4 on their eco. A full buyback has reset Team BreakThru, and a fast play, it looks already. The knife in the fault line to try and kick things off. This is a BreakThru look where they want to get Sim in towards tower.
They have Tig
But he
in there,
doesn't.
but yeah. Goes the aftershock. They might be able to at least get something over towards tower. They actually get the spike up there. Tig in the middle of the cage, trying to survive, but Sim finally comes up from behind. Good play from BreakThru. They have sight.
Yeah, full control there. Again, that similar aftershock and that fault line combination that we saw in the Abyss round. Gives them that control, but a full line as well. A nade from Wardell and a showstopper puts down 2 and
Here comes the
gives
nade.
back the advantage to the nation.
So Wardell pulling it all the way back. There's only 2 players remaining. Team BreakThru with no spike down, and they still have to shift over to that side of sight to get the spike. It's pretty much lost. 55 seconds left. There goes Brock trying to swing out, but now it's a 1v3. Flya has no idea where any of the other 2 players are. Only spots Rossi trying to go the other way, and out goes Stewie. The nation shutting down what was a potential for a bit of an upset there. BreakThru, they had the SMGs.
Yeah, really nice recovery, especially losing kind of Tig almost immediately early on in that round. And I mean, Brax tries to save him with a cage, but I think the nation are going to slowly realize that, okay, Team BreakThru, that's 3 rounds in a row where they've just been so easily able to run through the B site. I think changes will have to be made. Granted, this is a round where it's a little bit more calm, a little bit more tame, and Flya in that 1-on-1 clutch, or that 1v4 clutch, not able to get much done. And nation, a nice soft and easy start. Stewie, again, one of the top 10 initiators in this event, is going to solo look towards Dish, where he will be instantly forced off.
They take full dish control, grab orb. They're already out of there.
Nation are a team that are so good at kind of layering utility, and especially in these anti-eco rounds. One of the highlight things, and I think something that Tig has kind of drilled into them from his tenure in the VCT last year, is that, I mean, they were so good at playing slow and layering their utility that they have so much util for these post rounds. And you saw that, I think, in the last one, where Wardell still has a nade, he's got a showstopper, still a fault line to keep the spike from going down. That, yeah, again, they've layered their util pretty well here. Wardell taking that first contact, and with 40 seconds left, I mean, Team BreakThru, it's a last-second shuffle here over towards the B site.
Yeah, that was just in hopes of pulling a rotation, but it's not happening. There's 2 players here for the nation,
Gunner.
and they're both on site. They both have to cross 2. They have to swing right into them. And Tig easily getting 2, but the SMG runs out of ammo! And that's the even bigger shot. Brock snipes down Brax. Now we have an even 3v3 for the post plant, and it's a fast rotation.
I think things look scary here. Oh, never mind. Brock is going to get
No
removed.
way!
In a nice wallbang.
The
Flya
damage!
on such low HP already. Wardell has an idea, but hasn't gone for the finish.
Across. Thief peeking in.
Do the jack.
Get 1 or 2 players off the cross. The crossfire goes down. The Thief grabs 1, still alive, and has ulti. Has ulti now. Defuse goes in. Wardell's gonna have to come off. No half defuse.
They heard that.
Time is ticking down. Thief coming out through tower. Wardell peeks in with a flash. A late combo. Well done from the TSM boys.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing already this kind of lack of tower control, like I mentioned earlier in this round, and the way that the nation are trying to deal with this B site is they're putting a lot of emphasis on Tig's ability to play around his smokes, but when you have Team BreakThru that are so clinical and so quick in setting Sim up to get entries, that rounds where it's kind of just a half buy, they can be dangerous as well. And for the nation, they just barely scraped through with 2 extra rifles. So for this rifle round, it's going to be critical BreakThru finally have, well, unironically, their breakthrough in this first half to keep their economy afloat and to start to kind of shut down the nation. We're working with 3 ultimates here as well for Team BreakThru, and one just major one for the nation in terms of that orbital strike.
Look at this shift from the nation. 4 players on the A side, and that's where BreakThru are.
Yeah, that fast on's going to see nothing towards Arcade. It's a 2-2 split here as well. And Brax is already good for one. A Proto, someone that's been so good, just shut down instantly.
And all the info is there. Wardell around the corner, gonna be able to get one. The trigger discipline isn't there for a second, but here comes the rest of the crossfire. There's 3 players here on site, and Playa still somehow able to get 2 out of that, and Brax has to hide behind a smoke.
Tig!
One player coming up from behind, and it's Tig with 2. Thief now once again in a 1v3, and it's gonna go all the way down. Shots through the smoke, shots through boxes. The nation holding on strong.
And that's a confident read from the nation. Wardell sitting in that corner, I think he makes the right decision in terms of taking down Sim, so Sim doesn't have any space on that site, right? You talked about trigger discipline, but I think it's a smart call for Wardell to say, okay, I see a mid blast pack. I need to remove this player from this incident. Yeah, you see it here. That orbital strike forces him in, allows Tig to slip in through. I think the noise as well, there's a slight gap between the door and the orbital strike that allows him to go on through, and the nation not fully resetting Team BreakThru just yet, still working with those 3 ultimates as they approach this B site fast, and it looks like a full retake setup already. Nation have gotten aggressive towards A main.
Yeah, the Fade still has you, still has trips on side for shots through smoke.
Stewie.
There it is. Stewie looking for information, but the ulti doesn't actually come out. That would have been all the information in the world there for Stewie, but it's going to come in a little bit late. Here comes Wardell from behind, and Brock takes down 2 flankers. Rossi was still there, but that equalizes things down to a 3v3. Well done from Brock.
Tuck themselves up in towards tower of Proto. If there's one thing a Proto is known for, it is his sheriff, but it's not enough here. Leapt into the hands of Brax. A lovely rolling thunder.
The ping pong.
And that might just be the round. Flya, once again, left in a clutch.
I mean, you see Brax on the flank, right? You just tell him to wait and you pull out the rolling thunder. Like I said, it's a ping pong. You knock one towards one side and all of them are gone when they're come back. 3v1. Flya has no actual angle here, no pixel. He's dead. The nation, a 5th round back now. Team BreakThru. They haven't really seen a full stable round in terms of their economy, and they know it. This is such a strong start for the nation.
Yeah. And already Wardell is hot and raring to go. He wakes up, what, 30 minutes? A little, like an hour before this match. And he's already 8-5 to kick it off. For BreakThru.
Yes.
No money here, so it's the nation's turn to continue to build up ultimates. You know, ego frag, if you will, is an early aggressive look down towards B, but
yeah.
I think this lovely start for the nation. And you can see, this is a team that is full of confidence. One thing that you watch back in their matchup against the Silk Road is they ego swing, man. It's 3 kind of huge personalities, Brax, Wardell, and Stewie. And all have confidence, and they have chemistry dating all the way back to the beginning of Valorant.
Strong individual talent. But in this case, all the individuals are combining as BreakThru. Finally converging onto A. There's 4 people here for the nation. Here with the crossfire. Fly is able to take down one of them, but Rossi from up top. A couple headshots too. Good shots. Rossi again! Taking down the 3rd. It's light frags, considering the fact that it's pistols, but Rossi.
Listen, a Proto is known for his sheriff. Let's see. I predict at least 3 here. And then it's Stewie, who's on low HP, he's the last guy alive. A Proto's got this.
Oh yeah. It's his whole brain. He has to.
30 seconds
Oh,
left.
maybe not. Maybe not.
Gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They called him out entirely.
That's not ready. We're not getting the message.
And it's
Leave it to me,
Rossi.
I'll rough them up.
A 4K to close out the round.
Right there.
It's not a hot start already. Wardell will pick up the operator. And I think what we're seeing from the nation is, again, yeah, full confidence. I mean, Wardell takes an ego swing against a Stinger. Rossi then after takes another ego swing. Even though I think, yeah, he had a fault line. He could have definitely fault lined towards Dish where he knew a player was, but instead says, I'll take the ego swing. And it will be the nation who now have the operator in their hand and BreakThru. This is a critical round in the sense that this half kind of pulls away from you
wait a moment.
if you're not able to pull this one.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
reset
we're
yourself
already
again,
6-1,
and
right?
the nation is at 7.
This round already decides if they come out with a disadvantage in the next half. I mean, of
Right
course,
there.
they'll be down to an eco too, so it just starts to slip.
And
But there goes the rotation, but it might catch a Proto.
I don't think a Proto was ready for it. I mean, he has a trip there. But Wardell again, they're playing very passive off of the B site. And well, you try and cross with no util. It's a bullet that will take one away. An instant 5v4 for the Nation, and it will be Stu2K looking for a little bit of chip damage. But you have a triple flank coming as Sim tries to get in.
And they split. Good split. Neither one of the two gets hit. The Nation run away back into their spawn. The Showstopper misses, but BreakThru, they have full control of sight. 4 players here. Here comes yet another Showstopper, though, going right into the smoke. Okay, no, that wasn't actually a kill from the Showstopper, but it's still a kill in general. Stewie2K coming back with the trade onto a Proto. Still, BreakThru, control of sight. 2 players here. They're looking to peek. Thief goes out with a dry peek. Tig takes him down, and it's only 1. Brock is all the way down 6 feet under, and it's going to be a 7-1 scoreline for the Nation.
Yeah, such a massive fault line coming out from Rossi to support both Stewie and Wardell.
Right here.
As they know that there's pressure from that Showstopper coming in towards spawn. The fault line slows things down, and like you said, the split between Wardell and Stewie gives them an opportunity, and it will be a timeout coming out from Team BreakThru. I think this is, again, last round, we talked about it, a critical round from the pickup, whether things kind of slip out of their hands, and for the Nation, not much to worry about. Now that the op is in the hands of Wardell, it's another issue for Team BreakThru to kind of sort through.
Oh boy, this story is starting to become a bit deja vu now with the Nation. I mean, what have their, I mean, have they dropped any double-digit maps?
No.
In the last 3 days?
No, and it's scary, especially on Fracture, one of their best maps, 3-0. And again, we said it earlier, the max amount of rounds that a team has gotten them is 5. In Team BreakThru, this is the map they elect to pick into them.
Losing. It's the most possible one. And the Nation, I mean, we saw it yesterday on a map where they could be challenged, Haven. Well, they did. It was solid. It was a sweep from the Silk Road. But it almost looks like either you sweep the Nation or you get swept, because the other map that we ended up seeing being close between the Nation and Silk Road was a 13-4. The Nation, at this point, if all goes the way that we've seen before, it should just be a clean ending to this. But again, BreakThru, they've had a very good week on this map.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen both sides of the Nation, though. BreakThru, like you said, good week, but I mean, the Nation have just had the best of weeks here. Wardell back on the op. A nice early haunt gets sent deep in towards Tree, which will kind of give confidence to Wardell that this is where they're coming. And when an Eagle this big challenges, you're bound to find something, but nothing. I think there's an instant response fault line back and a light tag. Great nade to slow things down, and even better ultimate from Tig!
The orbital strike sweeps them all! Thief is down to 5 HP, but that's it!
A fault line orbital strike combination off of the nade? It feeds straight into it. I mean, this is the Nation. Again, this was a clout team people touted them as. But this is the coordination. And when you have someone as dedicated to putting a roster like this, like Stewie2K, you know that this is a team that's going to have the util coordination. And I mean, you've got what already? Tig and Rossi, to some of the smartest players coming out of the Tier 2 scene. And 2 of the most influential North American FPS players, alongside the most, I would say, influential outside of maybe Tarek. It's a recipe for any team. It's disaster. In the Nation, that's what they are to BreakThru.
I'm sure once BreakThru starts winning rounds, we'll have like a speech like that for them.
We'll flip it back. We'll flip it back. BreakThru suddenly are the
we'll
gods.
Have something long-winded for them,
right?
But for now, we can sing the praises of the Nation as BreakThru.
10 seconds
At this point, just trying to save up the rifle. Thief ended up getting one out of that. But Nation, the rest of this half seems sort of scripted at this point. Thief with 5 HP, however, able to take down 2 people at the very end and actually able to save up the gun. Still has the ulti too. Now we're on to the next. BreakThru. Their cache were completely broken without heading onto a single site.
Yeah, we've been sitting on this KO ultimate for quite some time. I'm waiting. I mean, I remember like 5 rounds ago, these were the exact 3 ultimates that I highlighted.
Yeah.
No, 5 rounds ago, these were the exact 3 ultimates I highlighted. No command hasn't been used. Neural Theft, I'll give some leeway. Can't really be used unless you get a kill, and they really haven't had too many of those. But the Nation have switched up the setup. Wardell is going to take an op, and it's an aggressive look inside this time towards Arcade, but it's a little bit faster here from Team BreakThru.
It's fast in a round where the Nation didn't have a defensive setup ready, and Brax still scrambling, able to get one out of it, but again, it's pistols alongside the SMG. Rossi around the corner, he does scramble for 2, and that leaves the rest of the round pretty possible for the
That's going to give a rolling thunder here to Rossi as well. Yeah, it's possible as well for Team BreakThru. An orbital strike to play with. And it's Thief and Brock. Brock already pushing in for 1, and again, highlight player, standout man, has got to come up big once more.
Okay, how do they isolate Dish here? Brock still fighting. But Thief, now in a 1v3, has the post-plant util, but he's stuck in the middle of sight. He's stuck on top. He's just playing perched. He's gonna be able to at least get some damage on 1, but it was...
I'm so confused how the boom bot got him.
Explode.
Did it not go underneath sight, and it ended up killing him?
What? Okay, 9-1. It was a 3v1. The kill was bound to happen, but the fact that it was a boom bot, that's...
Yeah. That is the 4th plant finally for Team BreakThru. Granted, no successful post plants, but they're getting there. And it's on kind of a lighter buy, so success in the form of faster tempo.
Did it go from the bottom stair? Yeah, it flew.
That goes there.
Okay.
Listen, there's Op Academy, there's Boombot Academy apparently.
Yeah.
Boombot Academy, you gotta take lessons. And OPAC.
Oh no.
Op Academy back at it again. We'll finally get shut down with an ult command, and I think there will be forced reposition here. And a full retake here for the Nation, as they do have their own role.
Wardell can do something. Indeed, Wardell does more than something. He gets the big kill with Brax.
Right here.
Crossed up and getting a second.
Oh, the finish.
I was gonna say, yeah, they get the revive off, but no. Rossi through the smoke, able to take it down.
Rolling Thunder has been used, and a Proto tucked in this corner. Finally cleared out by taking it. Will put Brock to try and come up massive again in a 1 versus 4 on 4 HP.
He's running. Ooh, with 4 HP, I feel like if he goes back into main there, he's gotta have a chance. But the Nation continue their streak of dominance. It's 10-1, still with another round left and a half to extend that lead. But that was one of the closer ones. That was one of the more chaotic takes that we finally seen from BreakThru, making the Nation scramble, but nothing still.
Yep, they're 6th plant now. I forgot to count the pistol when I was talking about the stat earlier. They're 6th plant. Not a single one has been successful outside of the pistol, and even then, that was off of kills alone. They really didn't even need the spike plant.
That goes there.
A scrappy last round buy, and I think that we're looking at this in a sense that how does the second map go? Because when Wardell apparently gets more than an hour of time, or more than 30 minutes to wake up before a match, it's already rough givings for this BreakThru side. And Wardell, no contact, has gotten aggressive. This is a different look. This is the first time he's up towards B main.
Oh, but look at the slip. The Cypher's through. Wardell hasn't seen any pixel just yet, so not going to call the Cypher to stay here on the crossfire. But Brax is playing anti-flash too. All he needs is the call out from Wardell. And that should be a kill or 2. And not only that, but players coming out from Arcade. Wardell spotting them too. Brax with a big opportunity just to get that neural theft in. And indeed he does. All the information going back towards the side of the Nation. And BreakThru, once again, haven't stepped onto site yet.
Still a man disadvantage, and Stewie already looking for the spray off of the C's. Not going to find a connection. Swag gets back to full HP. A flash on through, but it's Sim that goes down, and Rossi was there for Anti. It's as simple as that, and we're looking at the second half with nothing more than the Nation in the lead. 11-1 at halftime.
Switching sides.
And Team BreakThru, they're nowhere near in this equation.
I have no words really, because I mean that last round BreakThru, they were doing everything in their power to not let something like the Brax lurk happen. They were clearing every angle, they were taking everything slow, and in that attempt of just, holding it back, trying to see what cheeky things BreakThru are doing, they ended, the cheeky things that the Nation were doing, they ended up getting exposed themselves. What on earth happened there? 11-1. Not a single round really going linearly towards the Nation's favor. It's just been sweep after sweep.
And it's everything that Nation have done right. Tig coming online, Wardell there as well with the op. Of course, the big man Rossi.
Bring them down.
Still, time to recover, I guess, for Team BreakThru, and it starts most definitely here with the pistol. And this is a combination setup, a 4 or 5-man push straight into A main. Nearly caught off guard, and Stewie not affected by the stun, does find one.
Yeah, the fall line gets 4 of them, and it works out for Brock. Brock getting 3 kills out of it, but there's still 2. One in the middle of sight. A Proto's in the perfect spot to try to stop this if the spike even goes through.
Proto, first contact is good with headshots, but not good enough. It's low HP on Brax and
Rotation's
Wardell.
coming.
And Fly Up, not too far off, but it will be the spike plant here. No wallbang ability, but all it takes is a single bullet in both of their bodies.
Extremely low HP on both. Gust of Wind should do it. No crossfire! No crossfire! Should be able to isolate the raise, but has no idea where the Cypher is! Not anymore. The knife goes out. The Cypher's rushing. Could he come up from behind? Wardell!
All the way around!
But the flank is in, but the 180 was almost so good. Brax, barely with any time, takes down Flya. Continues the streak, but BreakThru, that was almost their chance to ironically break through.
Yeah, and it's a stunning fault line from Brock that puts him and sets him up for 3. Almost perfectly. And Brax, that one-on-one, I love kind of the brain of this guy. Instead of going for the most common angle where he knows Flya is facing,
He walked the whole time.
right, elects to wrap all the way around towards his back where Flya just has got, he's just completely blind to the idea. And, well, I mean, that pistol round, I think we can both agree.
Good.
Necessary for a win. Might just be the end of them.
Uh-oh. The spike might get rushed. The spike is getting rushed. Rossi's able to get 2 out of it. Not too bad. I think that might have stopped it, but BreakThru, they needed a bit of a cheeky play to get themselves back into this game. It didn't happen, though. It was close.
As much as I don't mind it, I think instantly the nation recognized a fast play towards top side. They'll flip the map. Quick take of A main control, and Stewie spots the body of Proto. Is down, another one to go.
Reloading.
And there it is, 13-1, as the nation absolutely dominate here on map 1. And they are now 1 map away from qualifying into split 1.
Yeah, there's really no other word for it other than dominant. They had a 13-0 yesterday. They continue the streak with a 13-1. And again, this is their first game against actual VCT opponents, against players who have actually had tenure in the top flight of North American VALORANT. And we are seeing them continue their streak of dominance. I mean, the nation, if before we already weren't just intimidated just by the lineup, but we were still calling them a clout team, we have to give them respect now.
Yeah, I mean, this felt like a breeze coming out of the side of the nation, and it's ironic that I say that because the breeze is now out of the map pool for the next update. But the nation, 13-1, I mean, it feels like that's as easy I can get for the nation in terms of map. And I mean, this was a strong map. Granted, it was the BreakThru's map pick, and so there are worries going into Haven, but we have discussed it. It was a map that has shown that, well, there are weaknesses to the nation in the sense of their map pool. They did lose to the Silk Road yesterday, 13-7, so an opportunity still for BreakThru. But again, this map felt a little bit too easy. And speaking of easy, you want to shop online, let me tell you something that is super easy. Check out eBay, one of our sponsors. Want to give a huge shout out to them. And of course, we've got more coming your way. Valorant on here on the main channel. It's map number 2 coming up after the break.
To some, this is nothing more than cardboard and ink. But to those who know, these are precious metals, rare gems, a full set it took 15 years to complete. Low-pop rookies, hypnotizing hollows, one of only a handful in the universe, or an heirloom to look after for the next generation. No matter what you collect, raw or graded, to have and to hold, or to crush your opponents with, what matters is that it's real. Introducing eBay's Authenticity Guarantee for trading cards. Our third-party authenticators inspect every detail of your card and compare it to the listing to make sure it's the real deal or no deal, because we know just how much your collection means to you.
Finally, you can stay in control of your thumbsticks. Natural evolution gave the gecko its amazingly strong grip. Our multi-patented SetX technology duplicates the microstructured fibers on a gecko's foot for a revolutionary new way to get a grip on game controller thumbsticks. Like a gecko's foot, the thousands of microstructures on each SetX anti-slip thumbstick grip provide high friction to the skin surface for a secure, comfortable grip, even when sweaty, giving you a competitive advantage. Stay in control with the secure and comfortable grip of SetX thumbstick grips. Inspired by nature, perfected by science.